Hello, Capricorn. Welcome to your fall 2025 reading. My name is NiJiLL, and you have found alchemy. Today, we're going to go breeze through your fall. This will be your overarching energy for the whole fall. And here are your 3 months. And as always, each month, I'm going to re-pull each section and build a reading around the size out of it. So stay tuned for that. But we're going to touch upon certain things right now, briefly, for each month. Now, with that said, let's get started. I did want to add to listen to your birthday reading. I know it kind of sounds silly at this point, but it's really not, because it's good for a whole year. So birthday of 2025 to birthday of 2026, 3 blessings that are just coming to you. Okay, let's get started. You did pull petrified wood, and this is number 43 in this deck. Now, what I am telling the signs is this actually is considered a crystal. Perhaps to purchase one of the crystal, whatever crystal that is pulled for them, to get them through this time, it'll really help. And no, I'm not selling you anything. I don't sell crystals. But the only thing I will tell you is to definitely buy it from a really reputable source. And reputable doesn't always mean honest, right? Sometimes people honestly believe they're selling a certain type of crystal, and they're not, because the source they got it from was incorrect or a scam, right? It happens all the time, especially on the Facebook groups, Amazon, eBay, things like that. So just be really careful about where you buy your crystals. Now, petrified wood isn't particularly expensive, but I'm telling you, I remember being in a store, and this was a store in Salem, Massachusetts, and it was not a crystal shop per se, but it was a witchcraft store. And the person selling something in the store, I don't even remember what she said it was, but she said it was something. And the person I was with was a crystal expert, and she said, nope, she's wrong. That's petrified wood. She just doesn't realize it, and I don't want to insult her. So there's that. Okay, I'm telling you, not everybody that gives you incorrect information is a scam artist. Sometimes they're just plain wrong. So just go to a really good place. Go to a crystal shop. Go to a place that really has a good reputation. Petrified wood is not expensive, but if you get something that's fake, it's not going to help you during this time. Now, with all that said, petrified wood is very earthy, like you, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, but very earthy, and it gives you a sense of healing, protection, grounding, and it does lend some endurance and resilience to this time. And it seems as though you may need that. You also have the void, and the void is number 62 in this deck. Now, the void is an interesting card, right? Like when an alchemist approaches the void, your destiny shifts in the darkness, right? So in the darkness of that card, your destiny will shift. So your job is to breathe and surrender, because from its center, everything is born. Everything that has been created or will be created is born from the void. So we'll keep that in mind. We'll keep that under our hats. I know it's kind of heavy. You do have passion here. And this is number 11 in this deck. And it says, rise, passion, rise up high, inflame my purpose, reach the sky. Now, I don't know if you've watched any of my readings, but for this particular deck, when these cards come out upright, this is something you're going to have to either strive for this fall, or it is something you're going to implement. Perhaps you're going to have to take steps towards something, and it has something to do with passion. Could it be a person? Sure. Could it be a goal or a creative project? Absolutely. It could be anything like that. So we'll keep that in mind. What's standing out to me there is that it is the number 11, which is that cardinal number that we always speak of in your readings. So you being a cardinal sign, it does sort of stand out there, the number 11. You do have here liquid courage. Interesting. It says bravery, confidence, intoxicated, and odd behavior. We all know what liquid courage is traditionally, right? It's alcohol. However, not all liquid courage is alcohol, and not all liquid courage is bad. So yes, it can be you or someone around you leaning on a drug, or leaning on, alcohol being a drug, smoking being a drug being a drug. It could be that, but it also could be temporary energy. It could be something that someone is leaning on a pharmaceutical to get them through a tough time. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Sometimes, listen, I've done it. I've gone through a really tough time where I've needed a prescription, and I I got my prescription, I got through my tough time, I stopped taking whatever it is I was taking, and that's fine. So not all liquid courage is bad, but you're going to need, when this card comes up, you're going to need the help of something. There is something that may come up in the fall where you're going to need help. And that help could come in the form of a drug, or it could come in the form of a person, or some other sort of stable structure. It could be a stable structure that's lending you that sort of grounded advice. Well, look at this. You have two cards that came out here, and one says the hand of fate, forces beyond your control intervene. The hand of fate. And this one says hindrance. It says fate has blocked your path. It has blocked this path for you. So you have fate that has come out twice. There is something very fateful that is going to be going on here in the fall. And there is something about the hand of fate guiding you. There is something that is going to be blocked for your better good. There is something that may seem like a dead end. It may seem, at least initially, like a sad thing or a bad thing, or it may be something that you didn't recognize as a hindrance, but fate certainly has. And fate has stepped in, because you have fate that has come out in both of these cards, which is very interesting. You have these two cards that came out as well. One is innovation and one is authority. Now, the innovation card says you will need to come up with new strategies to keep your plans in motion. Old ways are outdated. There is something falling away here. There is absolutely something falling away. Some old way of doing things, some old way of thinking about things. You do have authority, and it says clashes with a boss or a challenge to your power. Now, yeah, when I see authority, I see the legal system. It could be the legal system. This doesn't have to be you. It could be someone around you. But definitely could be the law, it could be a boss, or it could be a parent. Whatever authority figure is prevalent in your life, you seem to clash with a little bit. You find a new way of doing something, and it could be as a result of that. It very well could be. So, we'll keep that under our hats as we go along here. Now, on this side, we have Socrates. And Socrates is number 35 in this deck. And this is the Saints and Prophets, something like that. Saints and Prophets deck. Anyway, you have Socrates, and this card comes to people in a reading who are struggling, who they could be struggling to understand something, struggling to make sense of something. There's some kind of difficult situation. It could be a question. You're struggling to answer a question inside you. You may receive or provide an apology. This comes out sometimes. That is, it has to do with an apology. Someone apologizing to you about something that happened, or you apologizing to someone else. Could be. Okay, but when a difficult situation is afoot, this particular archetype pops up to lend their hand. You also have this that is grounding you, and you have the void that you're standing before. Something is definitely changing, and you do have the number 8 here, and it says your talent for setting and reaching goals is like no other. You are self-sufficient and capable of achieving your ambitions. It says representing the ebb and the flow, the infinite loop of creation. Yes, because that number 8 is an infinity symbol after all. And what's interesting too is the number 8 does represent Saturn, which is your governing planet. So we'll keep that under our hats, but there is a certain amount of success that is indicated when this card comes out. So regardless of what is going on, regardless of what may seem difficult, regardless of what you may need strength for, it looks like, of course, Capricorn, you're always up for a challenge, and you always meet that challenge head on. I mean, at least in the readings that I do for you. You have fire energy here on the table, and this is number 23. This is Leo, Capricorn. Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries. So, yeah, I mean, you could have fire highly aspected in your chart. If you want to know what's in your chart and you don't know what your chart looks like, in the description box, there is a link to a place where you can go and get a free chart generated. So, but if you have fire highly aspected in your chart through a major big 4 sign or a stellium or something like that, you could be stepping into that power. You could also just be stepping into that regardless of what your chart looks like. But there is fire on the table, and my feeling is that it's very beneficial. You also have here full moon in Sagittarius, which is another fire sign, right? It says luck is on your side. Not full moon, new moon in Sagittarius, right? So when we look at this card, it's pretty interesting. because it falls outside of the fall. It's in December. But whatever here is here on the table might stretch into December. But you do have luck on your side here. You have fire coming out over and over again, which is pretty interesting. Okay, and you also have, it says new moon void, of course, disconnect, withdrawal, reception. You could be going through this. You could be going through a sort of, and look, there's that word again, void. There is void here on the table a second time. From its center, everything is born. Remember that. If I could title this reading, which I'm not doing for the fall readings, that's what I would entitle it. From its center, everything is born. And you also have the sign of Aquarius. Now, Aquarius shares a ruling planet with you, which is Saturn. And it says innovative, rational, humanitarian. It could air sign here for sure. You could be stepping into, of course, you could be dealing with an Aquarian. Of course, you could have Aquarius highly aspected in your chart. Of course, all that may be true, but you could very well just be stepping into that other aspect, right? Aquarius shares Saturn with you, but they also share, they also have a second ruling planet, which is Uranus, and that is unexpected stuff that comes up. So we'll keep that in mind. It looks like something unexpected may come up. I'm not going to lie here, for sure. And what's interesting is when we add all the numbers up in your overarching energy and we break them down, we get 11 again. And it's that bridging number. I mean, listen, you've had an interesting year, honestly, and this fall is no different. It looks like you are sort of on fire with growth, and definitely it looks like success is in your future. There may be something here. There's something that fate is stepping in with. There is the hand of fate that is stopping something and guiding you towards the void. So let's look at your month to month now. Let's see. We'll start here, obviously. I'm going to, I know I always have so many cards out, but here, look at this. Wow. So you have number 12 here, and number 12 this is called prudence. And this is an alternate card. It's what they call an alternate card in this deck for the Hanged Man. And it's pure Neptune energy. It's not Piscean in this deck. It's, even though Neptune is Pisces' ruling planet, right? It doesn't necessarily correlate with Pisces as much as Neptune. And I'll throw this up on the screen so you could really see it. It stands between strength and temperance, right? And it means being careful in decisions, being very careful, like the Hanged Man in general, right? It tells us to avoid impulsivity. With our decisions, wait for the right time to act. Those two heads that are going in two different directions are two perspectives. Maybe one is looking towards the past, maybe one is looking towards the future and trying to make sense of it. Very, very smart card, very intelligent card, and it is the card of evaluation. Now, what's interesting is with these larger cards, I do not take them in reverse, but I take note of them when they do. And this card came in reverse initially. And so what does that mean? It means that in September, you may at least approach this initially with not the type of evaluation that you need to, but there is something that occurs in the month of September that snaps you back into reality and says, wait a minute, let me think about this. And I like that for you for sure. Let me put this over here. Let's look at these now. Wow, you have the King of Swords coming in reverse. And the King of Swords is typically Sun and Aquarius energy, right? But if you look at this card, look at all the symbolism on this deck. I love this deck, right? It's very rich deck. And if you look at the bottom there, you see the twins, right? So even though it is Sun and Aquarius, the Gemini is clearly on this card. And with the King of Swords in reverse, it could be a misuse of power, could be a manipulative human being, for sure. A manipulative air sign. There is a dragon in the card, and the dragon does represent power, but in reverse, it is destructive power. So there is something, I don't think this is you, all right? This is someone in your energy that you identify as all those things I just described, right? And perhaps it is something that you're looking towards the past, you're looking towards the future, you're looking at the present, and you're saying, well, wait a minute. This is not a King of Swords. This is a King of Swords in reverse. right? You do have the Justice card coming in reverse as well. And this is more air energy, right? This is Libra energy. But on this card, you can clearly see a vulture, right? Don't forget this is in reverse, right? So you have the Justice card here. It could be a legal outcome that's negative for someone around you. Could be this King of Swords person. Could be here at Capricorn. You know, it's right under the King of Swords. It could be an injustice that was done to you by someone that falls in that category for sure. The vulture indicates something dramatic, right? The pyramids in that card, it represents an ascension, but don't forget it's in reverse. So there is a negative energy around you. It is an air-laden energy, right? And here, what I like about this is you have the Nine of Wands. And the Nine of Wands is Jupiter in Sagittarius energy. Look at that. You could really see the Sagittarian, right? You see the Archer clearly in that card. You see them going upwards, climbing upwards with that arrow pulled. Really like that. The ability to overcome obstacles. You stepping into a fire energy. We talked about that over here. Absolutely. It is you stepping into a fire energy. Now, what we have here, as you know, if you've seen any of my readings, when the cards come in sideways, it's a decision you have to make. And this is the, you know, the Ace of Wands, or the Ace of what? Fire. So you're going to be making a decision about this. You're stepping into this fire energy. You're wondering, because right under it, you have self-care, right? Self-love, I should say. Self-love, creation. And yes, the Ace of Wands could be a very creative, explosive energy, but I'm looking at that self-love with this person here. And, you know, we have to turn this Ace of Wands right side up. You have to make a decision about this. And it's going to, your decision is going to be born from self-love, from you looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, you know, I deserve better than this. I deserve better. I'm going to get better. I love that whatever happens here with this person, you come out as the Nine of Wands. Love that. Yes, it's been a long road. Yes, it hasn't been easy, but it's a very strong card, especially, sorry about that, especially in this deck. Especially in this deck. It's a very, very good card. When we add this up and we break it down, guess what we get? We get Sagittarius again, because we get Jupiter. What is that? It's luck. It's expansion. It's optimism. At the end of the day, you're going to be okay. But it looks as though you look both ways before crossing the street, if that makes sense to you. Now, let us look at the next month. I wish I had a bigger table, but then you wouldn't be able to see any of the cards. Here you have the Princess of Coins, and this is an alternate version of the Page of Pentacles, okay? It's a feminine version, and the feminine version is very intuitive. But like I said, with these big cards, she did come in reverse initially, right? Mercury in Taurus energy. And this is sort of, when it comes in reverse, procrastination, putting something off. It's inevitable, but you're putting it off. Maybe it's a decision. Maybe it could be anything. But it's followed by an upstanding princess, and it's followed by inspiration born from that intuition, that feminine energy, right? Inspiration born from intuition. It's manifestation, sort of germination, right? It's that pre-manifestation energy, okay? You have here the 10 of Pentacles. We love that, don't we? Mercury and Virgo energy, strength, family, community, abundance is what that kangaroo represents. And we know the 10 of Pentacles is very grounded energy, very good energy for your future. All right. Not only your present, but your future. You have here the Page of Swords in reverse. And this is Mercury in Gemini energy. Now upwards, you know, right side up, this could be love, right? It could be love. And the only reason I'm saying that is because here, look, wait a minute. Let me see if I can see. You have in the background, you have the swan, and the swan is always indicative of love and beauty and grace. But look what else is in this picture. Do you see that goat? Do you see that goat? Which is not typical for a Page of Swords card, but yet it is typical for the representation of Capricorn, right? And that goat is you. And this is in reverse. So this could be a love situation that you're reevaluating or that sort of came crashing down. Could be. It is upside down. All right. This could be a message you received that you just don't like. It could be a message that was never received that you were waiting for. It could be. But here you have the Four of Cups in reverse. And we know the Four of Cups is Neptune and Cancer energy. And upright, it's the need for motivation, reevaluation. You know, we know that card, right? Somebody's offering someone a cup and they're like, maybe, right? In reverse, it's moving. It's definitely feeling motivated. But in this card, look at this. You have something moving inside you, right? There is motivation brought about by something moving inside you. Something is being born. In this deck, it's a baby, right? But it doesn't have to be. It's just something symbolic of that. Something that is moving inside you that can't be denied anymore. But what's interesting here is you have, see if I can pick this up without ruining everything. You have the Six of Cups, and you also have Mars energy with it, right? And, you know, you have the Six of Cups, which is Sun and Scorpio. It could be a return to the past or perhaps thinking about the past with a lot of nostalgia. But you also have that Mars energy, right? And Mars, it does say attraction, but Mars is also anger. It could be, you could be looking at your past with someone or something and feeling a certain amount of anger about what happened. I mean, especially with this card looking backwards and forwards, you could look back and say, that wasn't fair. That was terrible. Maybe your eyes are starting to open to something because there is hot energy here and I'm not really feeling the sexual energy. I'm feeling more anger coming from you. And when we add this up and we break it down, what I like about it is that we have more fire energy, right? So you have Mars here, which is fire, and you have the Sun, which is Leo energy, and you have Sagittarian energy up here. So it's fire on top of fire on top of fire. But with the Sun, it's male energy, it's ego driven. It's also a light illuminating on something that could have been not lit up before, right? And in October, you may really look at something and say, wait a minute. I'm seeing something from a new point of view. I'm seeing someone in a new light. I'm seeing a situation in a new light. It could very well be. There is something inside you that's brewing here. Now in November, you have, let's see. Wow. Yeah, this is a fascinating card here. You have, this card is called Art, and it shares the number with Temperance here, right? And what is that? More Sagittarian energy, a lot of Sagittarius energy. Now this card, I'm going to throw it up on the screen with the actual Temperance card from this deck. You can see the differences, right? And this card is creating something beautiful with intention because it's art. If you notice, there's a vessel present, and that vessel indicates every suit in the tarot deck being present for this, right? All these tools at your disposal. That saying that's above her head, you can see it. It's Latin and it translates into visit the interior of the earth by rectification. Thou shalt find the hidden stone. There is something hidden coming to light. And the acronym for that is vitriol, right? And that really reminds me of another deck. This particular deck where the void comes from, I'll throw that card up too. It's called vitriol. Right. And if you notice, you see the lion, how it's an anger. It is an anger card. And it's also a card of Leo, which is more fire energy. Definitely something born from anger. Something. I think this anger is good for you, though. I think that you are justified in feeling whatever you're feeling here, for sure. I can't wait to really do your expansive reading. What an interesting reading. Wait a minute. Did something fall? Hold on one second here. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, this was over there. Sorry about that. But you do have here, let's start reading your cards. You do have the Four of Swords. And in this deck, look how meditative this is, right? The Four of Swords is Jupiter and Libra energy. In this deck, it's clearly meditation, right? And it doesn't have to be you know, literally meditating. It's you really contemplating something. Being very spiritual. It's a visionary, somebody who's really seeing something. I like that. These are actually both very spiritual cards. You do have here the Seven of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles is Saturn and Taurus energy, and it's a harvest. But if you notice on this card, it's a little different. It is that harvest card that we see in the Rider-Waite deck. But if you see at the very top, there is a rose with tears coming out of her eyes, right? A harvest with a sadness attached to it, right? We also have a brown wolf at the bottom of the card. And the brown wolf is trust and connection to the earth, which is your element. And there is a plan unfolding here, Capricorn. But it looks like you've been through some sort of trial. And you have here the death card coming in sideways. And the death card is Scorpio energy. We know this, right? And it's a decision, right? The sideways card's a decision. Make a decision about the end of a situation. There is a bat here. I don't know if you can see it. In the air, there is a bat. Very transformative. It's air energy. Again, there is a fish in the water. And the fish is water energy. It could be something that was very emotional for you. And the flying fish that's in the air is definitely overcoming something. But the death card does represent an ending. And the sideways rendition of it is a situation that you're going to have to make a decision about. You're going to have to make a decision about how you feel about the ending of something. What you have here is the past suffering, and you also have the Three of Swords here coming in reverse, which is actually very good, right? The Three of Swords is Saturn and Libra energy, and it is the end of suffering, but this is suffering from the past. So there is something that you're really contemplating. I don't know why this is on the table now, but this is something from your past, that past suffering. You're definitely either all healed from that, or you're still healing from it. And this is like the sort of tail end of it. But you're making a decision about the ending of something, what actually happened. I think you're going to be getting more information about a situation here. And I think you're going to process that information, and you're going to come out the other end here. But this suffering that is talked about here is definitely in the past, because you can tell by the past being clearly on this card, and the reversal of the Three of Swords. When we add all this up and we break it down, we get Mercury energy, which is Gemini Virgo energy. And what's interesting is on November 9th through the 29th, we have Mercury retrograde, and that's basically the whole month. When you consider the post-shadow period and the pre-shadow period, it is the whole month of November, and this will affect you, Capricorn, in your 8th house, which could indicate emotions, emotional challenges. There's something that's going to pull at your heartstrings. You're going to be getting information about something. Fascinating energy, but I honestly can't wait to re-pull the cards and expand upon them. See if you can get yourself some actual real petrified wood to get you through this. Now, I do have these cards, and they represent it's October, September, and November. And I am going to definitely pull one of these cards. Which month is going to be the most challenging for Capricorn, please? The most challenging month. November. November is going to be the most challenging month. It's going to be the month of growth. Very interesting. Now, when we add this whole reading up and we break it down, we get Mercury again. We get that number 5. Gemini, it is that Mercury retrograde. What is that? In November. That's, I mean, seriously. The number that came out the most here was number 8. Came out the most in your reading. Saturn energy, right? Your ruling planet for sure. And the planet that came out the most was Jupiter, which is that expansive energy. At the end of the day, you're going to land on your feet, right? It is that. And what's fascinating is the sign that came out the most was Sagittarius, which is Jupiter energy, right? As far as the signs go, we have Gemini, we have Cancer, we have Scorpio, Libra, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, and Aquarius. Okay, I wish you nothing but the best. I will see you when we re-pull these cards, because I honestly can't wait to expand upon them. Your readings are always pretty cool here, Capricorn. I'll see you next time. Namaste.